Brock University's Department of Health Sciences recently released the results of a study on Twitter reactions to pandemic restrictions. You might be surprised by some of the findings. Dr. Anthony Chum joins us along with master's student Andrew Nielsen. Dr. Chum, first off, what was the most interesting finding in your opinion?
The most interesting finding, I would say that the province-wide lockdown was faced with a lot of negativity in terms of the level of disagreement, the number of tweets that people put out that were quite negative, and also the increases in the number of tweets, during the province-wide lockdown. And it was less so when we had partial lockdowns. So I think that's quite interesting. I mean, people's sentiments were worse, obviously, during the business closures. But what happened, what we saw also was that as the cases went up during the business closure, people effectively got less negative. So, people understood, for example, that when cases went up, the business closures were more justified. So we also saw that in the evidence.
Andrew, turning to you as a master's student, what was your role in the study?
So alongside with another master's student, Zachary Bellows, we basically got all the tweets that were mined from the Twitter data, and we analyzed the sentiment on them, classified them, and then we created this data set based on tweets from Ontario. And then we basically all together wrote the paper, and it's kind of been like a nice collaboration between us all. And
Anthony, was there ever a thought that you would look at Instagram and other social media formats as well to expand on this survey?
Right now, because we collected over 2 million tweets, that's what we're focused on. At this point, our next part is really to look at the vaccination, people's, positive, negative, and, sort of disagreements around vaccination hesitancy. Another dimension that we are wanting to look at is among some of our negative tweets, we noticed a proportion of them were anti-Asian and had racist tones. So we also want to, use the machine learning to sort of pick that up and to quantify that a bit.
That has been a trend over the last 14 months that anti-Asian sentiment has been increasing.
Yeah, we're hoping to collaborate with some of the community organizations who've been collecting stories around the country to document some of these attacks and then sort of correlate and look at this data in the Twitter to see whether that gets reflected, in real life in terms of actual police reports of these attacks and things like that.
Andrew, did you run across some tweets that may have sort of shocked you in their vitriol, in their anger?
Yeah, there was definitely some tweets that were, especially in relation to the anti-Asian sentiment, that were very strongly worded. And it's interesting because even though some tweets may have not, contained some words that were typically associated with this anti-Asian rhetoric, there's still a lot of undertones that we detected based on anti-Asian sentiment. So I think I was surprised how many we saw, and especially that this increase, even though we didn't directly look at these anti-Asian tweets, you can see that when these restrictions and lockdowns, there's a lot more disagreement in negative tweets, that it also kind of indirectly increases the amount of these anti-Asian tweets.
Anthony, are the results of this survey up somewhere that people can actually take a look at?
Yeah, we have a link to the study that people can look at. Another thing, just to add to Andrew's point with that, so it's not just anti-Asian as in for example, hashtag China virus or hashtag Wuhan virus. It's actual tweets that are targeted at Chinese people living in Canada specifically. So that's where, when Andrew was referring to the vitriol, that's what I think he meant.